You've seen an enchanted forest?
Yes, it was a magical place, but something went wrong. Since then, no one can get in or out.
Papa, that was epic.
Frozen I continues the story of Arendelle several years after the kingdom was saved from eternal winter, presenting a broader, more mature narrative that builds upon the emotional foundation of the first film. The story expands the world beyond familiar castle walls and snowy streets, shifting toward a mythic exploration of identity, responsibility, and the unseen forces that shape history. Rather than focusing solely on personal discovery, the film leans into the idea that growth often requires confronting uncomfortable truths about the past. The tone is more reflective and atmospheric, blending wonder with uncertainty as the characters face questions that cannot be answered through courage alone, but through understanding and acceptance. At its core, Frozen explores the idea that change is inevitable and that clinging to what feels safe can sometimes prevent true growth. Elsa's journey is no longer about learning to control her powers, but about understanding their origin and purpose. Anna's arc shifts from relying on others for reassurance to finding strength within herself, emphasizing emotional resilience. Kristoff faces his own internal struggle as he tries to redefine his place in a changing world, while Olaf represents innocence, grappling with the complexity of growing up. These emotional threads are woven together to create a story that feels more introspective than its predecessor. The film reunites the central cast that audiences connected with in the original story. Elsa is once again portrayed as a powerful yet emotionally restrained figure, her voice and presence conveying both confidence and vulnerability. Anna returns as the emotional heart of the narrative, driven by loyalty, love, and determination. Kristoff remains grounded and earnest, offering warmth and sincerity as he navigates his evolving relationship with Anna. Olaf provides humor and philosophical curiosity, delivering surprisingly deep reflections beneath his playful exterior. Supporting characters from Arendelle return, adding continuity and familiarity, while new characters from beyond the kingdom broaden the emotional and cultural scope of the story. The plot begins with Elsa being drawn toward a mysterious voice calling to her from beyond the borders of Arendelle. This unseen presence disrupts the balance of the kingdom, awakening ancient spirits and forcing the people to confront a hidden truth tied to their ancestors. Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven leave the safety of Arendelle to venture into an enchanted forest, shrouded in mist, where time seems frozen and nature responds to unseen forces. This journey marks a clear departure from the first film's confined setting, introducing a more expansive and mystical landscape filled with danger and discovery. As the group moves deeper into the enchanted forest, they encounter elemental spirits that represent wind, fire, water, and earth. These forces are not villains in the traditional sense, but manifestations of imbalance caused by unresolved conflicts from the past. Through these encounters, Elsa begins to realize that her powers are connected to something much older and more significant than she ever imagined. The forest itself becomes a character, reacting to the emotional and moral choices made by those within it, reinforcing the theme that nature remembers what people try to forget. Anna's journey runs parallel to Elsa's, but is rooted more firmly in emotional endurance. While Elsa feels compelled to push forward alone, Anna is repeatedly tested by loss, uncertainty, and fear. Her determination to protect her sister evolves into a deeper understanding that love sometimes means letting go. This internal struggle gives Anna some of the film's most emotionally resonant moments, as she learns to stand on her own when the path forward is unclear. Her growth is subtle but profound, emphasizing quiet strength over spectacle. Kristoff's role in the story adds a layer of grounded realism. While the world around him becomes increasingly magical and uncertain, his concerns remain deeply human. He struggles with communication, self-worth, and the fear of being left behind as Anna's responsibilities and confidence grow. His journey is not driven by destiny or prophecy, but by emotional honesty, making his arc relatable and sincere. Through humor and vulnerability, his character reinforces the idea that not all growth is dramatic, but it is still meaningful. Olaf serves as both comic relief and an unexpected philosophical voice. As he observes the changes around him, he begins to question ideas about permanence, maturity, and understanding. His reflections capture the confusion of growing up, where the world no longer fits neatly into simple explanations. Despite his lighthearted demeanor, Olaf's moments of insight add emotional depth to the story, reminding viewers that curiosity and innocence can coexist with wisdom. The mystery driving the plot ultimately leads Elsa to uncover the truth about her family's past and the origins of her powers. This revelation challenges everything she thought she knew about herself and her role in the world. Rather than framing destiny as something to be conquered, the film presents it as something to be understood and honored. Elsa's choice at the climax reflects a willingness to embrace responsibility, even when it means stepping away from the life she once knew. This decision marks a significant evolution in her character, emphasizing self-acceptance over self-isolation. Visually, Frozen elevates the animation quality established in the first film. The environments are richer, with detailed textures that bring forests, water, and light to life in striking ways. The elemental spirits are animated with fluidity and scale, creating moments that feel both magical and grounded. Character animation shows greater emotional nuance, with subtle expressions conveying complex feelings. The visual storytelling complements the narrative's maturity, using atmosphere and movement to enhance emotional impact. The music plays a crucial role in shaping the film's emotional landscape. The songs are more introspective and character-driven, reflecting internal conflict rather than external action. Elsa's musical moments convey longing and self-discovery, while Anna's songs emphasize perseverance and love. The score supports the mythic tone of the story, blending familiar motifs with new themes that reflect the character's growth. Music is used not just for entertainment, but as a narrative device that deepens emotional connection. Frozen, I was released in 2019, arriving several years after the original film and carrying the weight of high expectations. Rather than attempting to replicate the simplicity of the first story, it chose to evolve, offering a narrative that speaks to an audience that had grown older alongside the characters. The release was marked by anticipation and curiosity, as viewers were eager to see how the story would expand and whether it could match the cultural impact of its predecessor. The promotional material for the film hinted at a darker, more mysterious tone, emphasizing exploration and unanswered questions. The trailer showcased sweeping landscapes, elemental magic, and a sense of urgency that suggested a deeper conflict than before. Rather than revealing the full story, it focused on mood and imagery, inviting audiences into a world filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered. This approach set expectations for a sequel that was more ambitious and emotionally layered. In the end, Frozen, I stands as a story about listening to the past in order to move forward. It challenges the idea that happy endings are static, instead presenting growth as an ongoing process that requires courage, honesty, and sacrifice. By allowing its characters to change in meaningful ways, the film reinforces the message that true strength comes from understanding who you are and where you come from. It is a continuation that respects its origins while daring to ask deeper questions, making it a reflective and emotionally resonant chapter in the Frozen journey.